show that all of our council is present. Thank you, council, for being here. And the purpose of this meeting is a public hearing. We want citizen input for or against the Rails to Trails. I had the opportunity with Councilman David Brand, our city engineer, and myself to go to the Dora Trail. It's called the Horse Creek Trail, the city of Dora. This trail is 2.5 miles, plus it joins the Summerton Trail, which is 0.8 of a mile, which makes it about 3.2 miles. So we're going to introduce some special guests here in just a minute, but I want you to get, we're going to sort of narrate this. I'm going to cut the lights just a little bit here, and we'll talk about this. Y'all like that? Yeah. Can everybody see?
Yeah, the mayor and I took some pictures and some videos of this thing, so you have to kind of excuse the photography, but we just want to give y'all an idea of what the trail looks like and what we might could do something similar to here in Fayette. Like I say, it is called the Horse Creek Trail, City of Dora, built in what, 1999? So here where we are entering the trail. The trail is adjacent to a golf course there in Dora. The city runs, and they have parking, individual parking down here that was built for the trail that you see on this photo.
And let me say, the city clerk was very courteous and nice and
Yeah,
helped us. She got the 2 golf carts for us to ride the trail on. So
here's the first little section of the trail we've got some photos of. You'll see it's very nice, about 12 foot wide, center line for running on one side, biking on the other, so it's a walking and biking trail. And there's the mayor taking a little video of what it's like going down the trail. Because if I was walking and running, it wouldn't be this fast.
Mayor, I think you need to point out that even though you're in a golf cart, it's because you're with a special individual.
all right, let me say this. The city clerk says when she takes the golf cart down there, she has walkers calling City Hall complaining about the golf cart being down there. It's non-motorized. It's non-motorized. But
So we were the only motorized traffic on the trail while we were there.
Did you see that netting?
Yeah.
That is to protect the walkers from the
Golf
golf
course.
courses.
That's a real good idea.
And there's a driving range right there where that is. 50,000 balls laying out there.
This is actually a rest station. They had about 4 of these along the trail. And you'll see the bicycle racks there where bicyclers can put their bicycles in the rack. Go ahead.
Okay. This is an example of one of the crossings. There were several crossings, street crossings across the trail. This shows you the bollards they put up to prevent the motorized traffic from entering. It shows you how they kind of sign and mark off the trails as it crosses the street. Had signage all along the trails, which is nice. Next picture, I kind of zoomed in and said they do have rules on the trail, and you can read them yourself. I won't read them to you, but you know they do allow pets, but they must be on a leash. You know, no littering, of course. And you see the rules that they have posted. There was still a nice wooded area there. This area right here, there was actually some residents back to on the right-hand side, I think, as you all were looking at it. There's another one of the stations. You see some of the houses in the background there. Another little residential area we rode past down through the trail.
Hi, my name is Marcy Brown, and I'm the city clerk with the City of Dora. And we're on our beautiful Rail to Trails, and it was started in 1999. And we're here with Mr. Willingham, and he is a walker on this trail for many years. How do you like our trail?
We love it. We've been walking it since I retired 11 years ago,
11
every
years.
day.
Do you have any problems? Have you experienced any problems with the trail?
Sometimes you have some dogs you particularly don't like,
But for the
that's
most
all.
part, you haven't seen
No.
any problems,
No.
any bad people hanging out on the trail or
no,
anything of
no
that?
problem like that.
So do you recommend
Oh,
other
yeah.
places having a trail like this?
Yeah, would recommend anybody that could have one to have one.
Okay, well that's nice. You got anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's pretty much it, I guess.
Okay.
And Mayor, as we were walking, the people we met, he got them to do a little interview.
I asked them if they would do an interview because we
so
wanted to hear
you'll
what
see
they
several
thought
of them
about
along,
the
and
trail.
these are just people, you know, we didn't stage any of these folks. They were just people that were walking the trail. So.
Hi, my name is Marcy Brown. I'm the clerk with the City of Dora. And I have Pat and Steve Black. They are longtime walkers of our walking trail. And how long have you been walking this trail?
Let's see. 6
January
years.
January the 1st, 2012, first day.
Are you pleased with the trail?
Love it. We love it. This girl right here loves it too.
Come on, you can be a part of our interview.
Oh, heck no.
We're trying to get
You're
trails
already
in
in it
other
now.
areas.
Oh, I love it out here.
You love
This
it?
is fantastic.
This is
No pictures, please.
Okay, we won't take you.
So how
We're
long
trying to
have you
get a
walked
trail
the
in Fayette.
About 3 years.
About 3 years.
it's nice. It's safe.
Quiet.
We have a lot of people that walks. They're different times. It's quiet.
Yeah.
So you kind of
And
patrol
the
it
woods
with
are
everybody.
great. The woods are great. So it's different than just concrete jungle.
Right.
You know?
And you said it was nice and safe.
I wanna
So
get
you
around
haven't-
you.
Yes.
Sorry.
So you haven't had any problems
Not a
where
problem.
you're
There's
afraid
runners.
or
Now,
Joggers, runners, kids pushing strollers
Yeah.
with kids in them and things like that. Old
So-
families walk.
so if someone else was wanting to design one of these, would you say that y'all kind of help patrol it to keep riffraff off? You know,
well,
I think
they
that
know we're here.
they know you're here.
They know we're here every day.
Police rides up and down through here every now and then.
Yeah.
They've sneaked up behind me.
Yeah, but before they'll
Police
watch.
behind them.
That's good.
Okay,
You need the police out here too.
so you haven't had any issues.
Not one.
All right, want another street crossing across, another beach bike rack.
Hi, this is Deb Ellis, and
Good
her
morning.
her husband is the mayor of Summerton, and they just completed their Rails to Trails. So tell us a little bit about it.
It is a nice track. It's not quite as wide as the Dora track, but the funding was changed from the time that the Dora track was acquired, and then we applied for the Summerton one, so it's a little different. But the Dora track is fabulous. I enjoy every bit of it. It has some elevations that you can run, and it has some straightaways. And it's just pleasant. I get out here and I walk and I hear the birds, and I even walk in the wintertime. And it is, sometimes it's a little dark, but it's a part of my day, and it's a good thing to do.
Do you feel safe? Do you feel
I feel safe, yes I do. And the dogs come with me. And you know, we're pet friendly, and we try to take care of it. Dora does an excellent job taking care of it. They're out here working 2 or 3 times a month and weekly, you know, that kind of thing. They have a regular maintenance program, and we just enjoy it, and it's an asset to our community. I really do wish that we could expand it, and there is a group of people who are working to expand it. It's great for fitness. After time has gone by, they see that it's well kept, and we, you know, and it's maintained, and we, you know, patrol it and that kind of thing. And I think they see it as an asset. I know them all now, you know, and I didn't. So it is a community thing. When you get out and walk and you have some areas to go to that are safe and are available at any time, then, you know, it's a good thing to have.
So
You're running with somebody 2 days ago. It is used not just by our area, it is used by the whole county. And I think the whole county sees this as an asset. And I know that the city of Jasper does, because, you know, we have had some runs here and that kind of thing. And it is listed on the Rails to Trails website. I've signed up to get emails from them, so I know what's going on with Rails to Trails, and this is a good one.
You get down to the very end of the trail here, it ends close to this, the school, I guess, which was recently closed, right? But that's the last resting section. There's the bike rack there with the garbage facilities they have all along the trail, where you put your litter in. And I wanted to also note that they had marked the trail at every like half a mile interval, so you know how far you've been walking. Every quarter, okay. So this is the very start of the trail, start or end, depending on which end you want to start at. So. And there, along the trail, they had different parking areas so if you didn't want to start at the very head of it, you could join some of the other ones, and they had parking available, which I thought was a really good idea.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Marcy Brown, the clerk for City of Dora, and I'm here with the Parkers. They're longtime residents of our city, as well as walkers on this beautiful trail. How long have you been walking this trail?
I started in 1980, right after the park was put in, and I've been walking ever since.
Okay, the park at the city hall?
Went right after the city hall moved up there, and they did put the park in.
And then what about this? Have you been on this since it was built?
Yes, we've been He walks here more than I do. He likes this trail better, and I like the other one better. But I'm walking with him today.
Have you had any problems on the trail?
No, never had a single problem. It's just a nice place to walk.
And you feel safe?
Oh yeah, we feel safe. And you see a lot of families walking, and you know, kids on bicycles and things like that. They can ride the bicycles down here. They can walk their dogs, but up at the park they can't do that.
Right.
It's a good destination for each.
And what she's implying is we have a city park that connects to this trail, and so we don't allow a lot of things up there, but we allow it here on the trail.
Yeah. And we wouldn't want dogs up there, but the children playing at the park and everything. And I saw a lady this morning coming from here up to the park, and she was walking this big dog, and she does it every day.
But you don't have any problems with it? Would you recommend it to other cities?
Oh, highly recommended. This has been a great asset to Dora.
Well, that's good. Anything you'd like to add?
We were one of the first cities in Harper County to do this. And I was a teacher in Jasper, and the people in Jasper were very jealous of this. And so now they have the walking trails just about all over the county. And then, of course, Summerton added on to this trail to go. And so you can walk from Dora to Summerton now on this walkway.
But all the trails, I think ours is the most scenic. And
yeah. And see, this follows the railroad bed. And, of course, you get the federal money and everything that helps with that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay, this is the next part. We kind of went back to the very start and started down the Summerton Trail so you can get an idea of what they did a little more recently. Their trail, you notice, is not quite as wide. It's only like 8 foot wide. So we like the 12 foot a lot better, but you know, they put in what they could, I guess, with the funds they got right there. They did have markings for the bicycles. You can see the bicycles and the markings on the trail as well. And it goes through the wooded area as well, and that's some examples of their trail. And there's the crew. So, okay, that's all I had on it. So if you've got any questions on my presentation, I'll take them now.
It's my privilege to introduce Mr. Mayor, I guess Mayor Emeritus. He served 7 terms at Dora. As the mayor of Dora, Mayor George Sides Sr., he said that he would come down and he would be glad to share how they got there started and any concerns that happened after they opened it up. And he also has is it a 7-term or 8-term council? And this is Arthur Taylor, who came with him, Councilman Taylor. But Mayor Sides, thank you for taking time to come down here. And we'd like for you to come now, if you would, and share how you got, in 1999, how you started your trail and any problems that came up or anything. And we'll let the audience ask a question or two here. But we're going to let everybody speak that wants to speak. Please understand, you don't have to be on the agenda to speak tonight. This is a public hearing, so anybody can come up and speak to the council. Mayor Sides, let's hear it from Mayor Sides.
I don't know if I could add anything in addition to the video you had. I don't know how to add anything to that. That was quite good. And I did not know they did that. That's the first time I've seen this. When they came by the store and said they'd been on the trail and clerk had taken the time to show them, work with them, But give you a little history of our Horse Creek Trail, if I may do that a little bit. We had an abandoned rail way there, and it left Dora. It went through Summerton all the way to the Empire to Sipsey, Alabama. The people that might be familiar with that may understand what I'm talking about. But we had a call one day from the railroad and said that they would want to dispose of the rail line that was there. They had already, they had not taken the rails up. It was still just like it was. And so we pursued that from that point on. And once we discussed with them what it would cost and find out if we could get funding to a rails to trail. The rails trail, 20 years ago, was quite popular as it is today. So we immediately jumped on that and bought that property and hired a consultant to come in, like Mr. Acuff does, not him, but someone else at that time. but come in and let's do some research and see if we can make it work. And once we did that, we had an engineer that come in and drafted the thing up and the proposal. And once we kind of got it all together, then we go down to the state and ask for funding through the Rails to Trail program. Of course, I know the funding now is somewhat different now than what it was then. And, but we were very fortunate to get funded the first outfit we put in. And really, that's where a lot of the money is right now in the highway system. Comes through the federal program. That's where most of the money comes from. Or that's where all of it comes from, really. And we were able to get that grant to do it. And once we got our plans made and set out, we have a 100-foot wide right-of-way is what ours was. And so it gave us a lot of room. But all we did just do the road bed was there and just kind of worked on it and finished it based on the contour of the road bed. And that trail, as you notice, was almost level. Had a little grade to it, just almost none. You could, if you pedal uphill, he's a bicycle guy. You pedal uphill, you can sit on the seat and still do it, but you can get on the other end and you can coast all the way back down. So it's quite friendly, for that. But we got three fundings through our trail program in 1 year. To be honest with you, I don't think that would ever happen again. But we were fortunate enough to see where we were going to go. The first $200,000 was not going to be enough to build it, but we went ahead and immediately had the engineer to research and what we need to do in phase 2 and phase 3. And of course we did that, but believe it or not, the state of Alabama had some folks that didn't follow through with their commitment on the trail program. And since we had one ready to go in a can, we were able to turn it in and get that money from the state very quickly. The last thing they want to do is have money that's been committed to not be used. I think you would say that. They just don't want that. So we were very fortunate to get those funds and use them immediately. So our construction time probably took over a period of a couple of years to bring it to a conclusion, to do that. And I know the film didn't show, leaving the trail going up to the city park was part of that program to come in that money too. And it's a nice concrete wall, somewhat steep, but it's got a lot of shrubbery in it, and a lot of high dollar little shrubs in it, I don't know what they call them. But anyway, they were quite expensive, I question them. But anyway, it turned out, and it's very nice. But the folks you saw there, I know every one of them that you saw there, and they enjoyed it. But our Rails Trail program was very popular, especially when we first started. And like the lady said about some of the people in the county, was envious of it, but it was a natural for us to do. Now, when we did the Rails and Trail, and when you said about those houses, that subdivision, there's a subdivision that came in there right behind that. In fact, the Drummond Company, y'all heard of them. They had a grandson that develops houses. So he went there and bought this and built like 48 houses. And one of the reasons he said that he did that is because of the trail. And of course, the golf course being adjacent, that didn't hurt either. So obviously, it was good for them. But what I say or what somebody else says, I don't know. But it's probably one of the best things that we did in Dora. There's more man hours or hours spent on the trail than any part of the city. I'm talking about, but per year, if you add up all the hours spent at the football game and spent at the golf course, spent here, there's more hours accumulated on the trail than anywhere else. And what was gratifying to me, to see a young family go out there, as the lady said, they'll walk, they'll have one child or 2 kids, and they're walking the trail, they're going back, they're pushing the stroller, and all those type things, and some of them have their pets. You can be too strict, I think, on issues like that. Most everybody that has a dog loves a dog, or they wouldn't have it, and they want to walk with them and do all those type things. And we didn't argue over that. That was not an issue that we took an argument with, but it turned out real good. You notice we had a stripe in the middle of the trail, and the purpose of the stripe is not necessarily to direct the bicycles or the walking folks, but people get in the habit of walking one way and come back the other. It's kind of like driving a car. You're getting a routine of which way to go. But he rides a bike a lot and has through the years, and the bicycle folks are quite popular. They do more bicycle riding in the early mornings than they do in the heat of the day, obviously. But it's been a great project. I think it's probably been one of the better things that I did when I was mayor and accomplished there. There are some, we had 1 or 2 folks that didn't like it when it first started because they wanted to do things their way. There's nothing wrong with that. But as it got finished and brought to the conclusion, then they were happy that it was there. But not only that, it serves the whole county, not just Dora, or not just Summerton. We have people that from Jasper that come out there regularly and use the trail. And I used to ride a bike myself. Well, I still got one, but I don't ride it. But I always enjoyed riding the trail, and it was a lot of fun. But I mean, I'm open for questions if you want to ask me about anything. Maybe council persons.
I have a question. Your ongoing care of the trail, is that supported by an additional tax, or how do you?
It's just assumed the city budget with us, once it was built and completed, it's not a high maintenance thing anymore.
How much?
How much?
How much?
I'd be guessing if I told you, I don't know. It was an insignificant amount, because there's nothing there to do except pick the garbage up and.
But you haven't added any new people to your government?
No.
The other question I have is, I see people on the trail, and you mentioned safety with their cell phone, and I wonder if we're going to have cell phone reception on our trail here in Fayette.
We don't know.
We don't have it mapped.
I don't know.
Well, you know, I'd feel relatively safe out there if I had my cell phone. But without a cell phone, I wouldn't feel too safe.
Activate the tower here in the city, that's located in the city. It was supposed to be already activated. They had a little punch list they had to follow up, and we anticipate that being, and everybody will know here, I promise you, when they activate it. Everybody have.
Okay, I have one more question. Does the city have the kind of equipment now that it would take to mow slanted
We have a
house?
side
Yeah.
push hog that we,
Okay.
swap, you take it down one side and back up the other side and keep it mowed, yes, sir.
That's it.
Now, we take pride, if you go up to our city park, you'll see how we manicure it and take pride in making sure that it looks nice and attractive. And we would do the same thing with this.
But we don't want our taxes to go up.
It's very low maintenance.
Very
low. Question?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Were y'all allowed, or could you use in-kind labor, like inmate labor or anything for landscaping and maintaining that? Or are you even allowed to with the type of loans, the
Well,
grants, I mean, that?
There's gonna be a match with the grant, I'm assuming, and you make it do in-kind service for your part of your match.
Yes.
I've been on almost 8 years, so.
Terry's gonna address that,
but
we're gonna get him to explain it.
Once you get the trail built, you can use, prison labor, anything like that can't be used to build it. That's a no-no, you don't do that. That's not in-kind allowable, but as far as, I don't know what kind of arrangement the city has, usually it'd be city workers doing that. But during construction, ADECA does not allow you to use any type of
But
prison.
they can maintain it or be involved?
That could be a part. I've never had that question asked, but I'm sure. Once it's built, then there's no rule that's gonna be involved in that.
I could speak to that a little bit. At the workshop, the application workshop, we went to the 20% local match. You can use volunteer hours, and your man hours are $20.84 an hour, so we would want to keep good records. You know, it needs to be part of the budget, but that's just for manual labor, like if the Boy Scouts came out and wanted to clear and cut trees and that sort of thing. And then if you use special equipment and city workers, then it's at a higher rate, right?
Yes. You get the assigned rate that the actual workers get paid. Mayor, did you buy the land with grant money, or did you buy?
No, we bought the city up front because we waited on the grant money. And the price was very good for us because the railroad wanted to dispose of that property and get it was an asset, but it was a used up asset.
Yes.
And that's why we.
Ms. Gilman, you had your hand up.
Would this be open at night? Would people be going up and
No,
down
ma'am.
through our property at night?
No, ma'am. And as a council, you don't have yours open at night?
Well, it's there, a lot of people use it, but it's not been an issue with us. So, I mean, you can dictate the hours, whatever hours you want to choose there. But our policemen would ride our trail, especially at night. They would cruise the trail. When I say cruise, go through there, it's wide enough they can drive their vehicle through it and see what's going on. But, you know, as I recall, you know, I don't remember us having any issues that were significant. I really don't. I'm not saying it won't be, you know, of course, in the trails, you know, but it's we always consider it to be very safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Norfolk Southern, are they the owners of what you acquired?
It was a Frisco originally, who bought Frisco, did that.
Right, so
Yeah.
your purchase was actually through Frisco, not?
Right, we purchased directly from the railroad itself, and we happen to get a great deal on ours, that's why we.
Yeah, most places are, that's what it seems like, that's gonna be a real thing to negotiate.
Well, it depends on, you know, where you at, you gotta understand Dora compared to Fayette is insignificant
Absolutely.
for population and your business community and your cash registers and all that. And
Railways.
and all, but we were, you know, that was one that, of course, we built Horse Creek Golf, and the city built Horse Creek Golf also. It's a public owned golf course, and it's, I don't know, has anybody ever played Horse Creek here? Not bad, is it, for a little country operation? You know,
Mayor, what's your population? What's the population?
about 2,350.
2,350.
And 2,350 people for an 18-hole golf course is nothing. But the people in Dora don't play golf. They are Birmingham and Pelham and Jasper, and that's where most of them come from. In fact, our market research showed that when we built the golf course. Of course, we didn't do any market research for the Rails Trail because it was a no-brainer for us, because the cost of acquiring land is a very small amount. And of course, you get grant dollars, and we always tried to get all the grant dollars we could get. And so that's the way we had money. We still have enough cash registers to do, say something like you guys could do, or do.
Does the council have any questions to ask Mayor Sykes?
Mayor, thank you for informing us so well and eloquently.
I've got one question here.
Yes, sir.
Has the police had to arrest anyone on that trail during that time? Has any arrest been made that you could recall, or any problems?
If it is, I'm unaware of it.
Okay.
Put it that way. Well, we talk about prison labor, and got a camera here on me. I learned as mayor, anytime you use prison labor in a small town like Dora, it takes more maintenance to guard them and stay with them than what you get. So we learned that quite quickly it is better to just not try to deal in that situation. And because we didn't have a lot of arrests like y'all would have. You know, and so we just, well, it's just, you don't really, we just never could get no benefit out of it. It just wasn't productive. And because the cost, like I say, of feeding them, and they get hurt and all the things that go with it, it's just not worth it. You know, if one gets sick and gets hurt, you've got to carry them to the hospital. You know who gets the bill? You do, don't you? So that's the thing about it. Yes, ma'am.
The on and off, the starting and the finish, will there be any other exits for, say, cars to park?
Yes, ma'am.
And
I
get
guess you.
on and off,
Have
and
you ever-
will this be in a neighborhood?
That'll be a part of our master plan.
Ours is, wherever you saw the street crosses there was a parking area for people to drive to that area. And the reason is for handicap situation, is one of the reasons. But there was always parking, adequate parking there. In fact, there's about 3 or 4 parking stations along that trail that would accommodate anywhere from 5 cars to 12, 15. And a lot of people go to the city park and walk down to the trail and walk. But it, you know, it's just, but I do think, and you're thinking right, is the policemen had widened up the drive so they can just cruise through there, just turn the lights on, see what's going on. But as far as controlling that, we never did do a control, try to do a control on it. We just did, and there wasn't the need for it, to be honest with you.
I have a question. I've seen about 4 bike riders in the city of Fayette going through the city. And I know we're talking about a hike and bike trail, and I am interested in it. I was wondering, is the city of Fayette considered too busy to have a hike and bike trail going through town? No, not a hike and bike, but a bike trail.
That would be too congested to.
Oh, I was wondering, so the city of Fayette is considered too busy to have a bike lane going through the city of town?
You're talking about, Europe.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alabama is, I tell you, Alabama in general is not what you call a great state for having bike lanes and all that anyway. It just was not something, I not to pick on just Fayette, but most small towns, even Tuscaloosa, I mean.
Okay.
Let me add one
Like
thing.
you go in other places, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Let me add one thing to this that I didn't say. Back 20 years ago, and it may have been true in Fayette, but we had a lot of guys, a lot of kids that rode skateboards, you know, and they ride them down the rails, and they ride them everywhere, shopping centers and sidewalks, wherever it is. And we did not object to them riding on the trail. We did not. And it wasn't an issue. But had we made it an issue, it may have been more difficult. But there were 5 or 6 kids that just loved their skateboards, and they just go and go. But once they got their belly full of it, so to speak, it was an issue. I don't recommend it. That you know, so we don't have bike trail. I mean, a skateboard trail on our sign. It was bike and walking. But we did that because they'd come to me and ask, and I said, well, just go and be careful, you know, and they did. And it really wasn't an issue. I'm just saying it could be, depending on how reckless they would be. But I've learned through the years sometimes let it wear itself down and you don't have to deal with it as much. Or to me, that's the way it was.
Any other questions, Mayor Simons? Councilman Taylor, do you have anything you'd like?
Sure, he covered it all.
Still have a bicycle?
I sure do.
I've got 3 bicycles. And myself, I mean.
If you're ever in Dora, Alabama, go by Sides Furniture Store. Their Sides has a nice store there, and he's got all kinds of.
The lady in
But
the,
shop Fayette first. Shop Fayette first.
the lady that they interviewed, that said her husband was Mayor Summerton, he has probably walked that trail in Dora more than any person there is.
He walks every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And he owns a home right there next to the rail, the trail.
No, Dora.
Dora's mayor does inside the subdivision.
Dora's
So
mayor,
Mayor
the
Ellis.
present mayor owns a house.
Yeah, but he has.
Clerk told us that.
Yeah.
When we were up there.
You know, but it's, like I say, I'm not here to sell you on anything, because you guys know what you want and all, but I wouldn't, if I could get my money back when we invested, you know, we would take it back, because it's that much of an asset to the community. I call it passive type recreation. You know, when you can go and you can take your kids and you can go yourself, and you don't have to spend any money, you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to buy a ticket. You just go at your will, take your bottle of water that you buy, if you have Walmart here, you know, and to carry with you. And it's pretty cheap entertainment, the way I look at it, for family entertainment.
Very good, thanks, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, well, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Councilman, sir, appreciate it.
Good to see you, Mr. Sykes.
Yes, sir, my pleasure.
Before we, let me again state that this is an official meeting of the City Council. We are in session, and it's a public hearing. Our city attorney is taking records of this meeting, so when I stated to begin with the purpose of this meeting, we went into official meeting here. And I want Terry Acuff to come and explain the grant process here. If he would, take 5 minutes and
Thank you, Mayor. What you're considering applying for is a recreational trails grant. Basically, it's money that comes through the Transportation Department that gets earmarked, and the DECA basically matches. They got $1.6 million that you're initially thinking about. What you can do with that money, you could build walking trails, you can build multi-purpose trails, build anything you want. And you can also acquire land. You're at a little disadvantage than Mayor Size was, he owned his property. You're gonna have to, first initial grant that I think is being proposed right now is asking a DECA for $100,000 to assist you in the land acquisition portion to acquire the property. That would be to getting an appraised value of the property, negotiating with property owners, doing title searches, then actually acquiring the property. If you have funding left, then you can start constructing the trail, but at least to initiate that phase is what you're applying for now. And what that would be is a pre-application. You would ask for a deck for $100,000, $20,000 match to start this process. They'll review it. A month later, too, they'll tell you, okay, you do a full application. When you do a full application, that pretty much means you're approved. We'll come back to you, ask for another resolution, and then you would hire an appraiser to start this process. That'd have to be a licensed appraisal, approved by ALDOT, approved by the rail company, and then you wouldn't come to a price on the property. If there's other property owners out there, you'd have to do the same thing, but that's your initial phase, that you'd be in the process of doing that. Then after that, you could apply for what they call TAP money, which you're doing your sidewalks with, to get $400,000 to actually build the trail. So it's a phase thing. You're in the planning stages, and now you're trying to see if you can acquire the property at this point.
Okay, very good. Terry's company actually was involved and wrote the grant for the Dora trail. Am I right about that?
For not Dora, Summit.
For Summit, okay.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. And the Summit Trail's been up about 2 years?
Yes, they just completed it.
All right. Okay.
But they received a $100,000 grant, and they're gonna apply again for additional funding.
Does any of the council have a question to ask Terry? Okay, all right. Thank you, Terry. All right, now we're ready to have public input, and I encourage you, if you have a concern or you want to make a statement for or against the trails, please come forward. If you come forward, I'd like you to state your name, your address, and if you have property adjoining the trail, we'd like to know that. And so who would like to be first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Council, you've already heard from me, so you know how I feel, but I'd like to express it to everyone. My name is Kathy Robertson, and my address is 623 10th Street Northwest in the city of Fayette. Our family does own property adjacent to the railway, and actually our first home was on the railroad, and it was a wonderful place to live. The train at that time did come through, and if we lived there today, I would be very much in support of it. Number one, it has the potential to improve property values. We learned that with the presentation we had the other night. It's not a guarantee, but it's more a trend that improves property values rather than decrease them. The health benefits are enormous. People say, well, we've got the park, you can go to the park and walk, but it's also a transportation trail. You can get on the trail at some points downtown or further out in the country and use it. If you live out, you can get on it, ride a bike into town or walk into town. And that neighborhood that I lived in, that would have been wonderful because you can't walk safely down Columbus Street. Another thing for me is that it would be an asphalted trail, or we hope. We're in the planning stages. We don't know what it will be, but ideally it would be. And I would love to see people in wheelchairs and strollers and bikes. Have you ever tried to push a wheelchair around the lake at the park? It's difficult. So I love that idea. The economic development to the downtown area. I also own property in downtown and going to great efforts to try to make a viable business. We've done so much to make our downtown beautiful and revitalized, but it's still not that active. You know, having a trail, if you look at the depot area down there, it would beautify that. It would bring more people into the downtown area. So I think it would definitely increase our economic activity for our downtown. The volunteer opportunities, I think, are great. Everybody wants to volunteer. You know, I think it would be a great Eagle Scout project for the Boy Scouts. Excuse me. Master Gardeners, Garden Club, the Arts Alliance. I see it as a community project that a lot of people are going to get involved in and a lot of people are going to enjoy. And I understand the fear factor for some people, but you know, we can't live our life in fear. You know, if these things happen, so you have a drug dealer that comes down the trail, you deal with it. You arrest them. You let them know that this is not going to happen on our trail. We're gonna keep it clean, we're gonna keep it beautiful, it's gonna be a family-oriented place. And so I support the trail.
Okay, thank you. All right. We have someone else come speak. Someone else come and speak, for or against.
I'd be glad to speak. I'm Claire Shelton. I've only lived here for 6 years. I own a house with my husband on 401 19th Street Northwest in the Garden Manor subdivision. My husband and I are both walkers. We go to Guthrie Smith almost every single day. I also walk downtown as much as I can, up and around. I would use the trail. I've met the nicest people in the world walking here in Fayette. I pick up trash when I walk, and if I had a trail where the rails to trail is suggested, I absolutely guarantee you that I would treat it like it was my own backyard, and I would probably even plant a tree or a flower on my walk.
I'm Greg Hill. I live at 623 First Avenue Northwest, and I've only lived here since last July. My wife and I moved from Houston. And Houston's not known as a bicycle-friendly town, but there are plenty of opportunities to ride. I believe we have a bicycle rider here.
I'm related to one.
There's not many opportunities for bike riders. You don't want to get out on Temple Avenue or any of those on your bicycle. There are places to ride, but it would be so nice to have a safe place, just to get out there, even if you do a couple of miles one way, a couple of miles back the other. It's safe, clean, and I haven't been on my bike in 7 months. Of course, I won't be on my bike today either, but I just had surgery this morning. This is important enough to me to get out of bed and come here and join in. So I hope we move forward with this, and I think it will be an asset to my new town. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Mr. Hayes. Someone else, please.
Okay, I'm going to follow Representative Houston. Okay. My name is Esther McReynolds. I've been here over 2 years. This is my family's home. Okay, Fayette. I can say this. We as children used to come in on that train. We remember our grandmother coming up to Mount Clemens, Michigan to get us. And we'd come back on that train. Our grandfather would come out and pick us up in the buckboard. Okay, I didn't get my address. 286 Blue Ridge Road. I wish I was connected to the Hiking Bike Trail. I'd get on it sooner, but I'll get on it some kind of way. I'm for it. Esther McReynolds.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Do I need to go over here?
Do what you want to do, sir.
I'm Philip Taylor. I do own property along the proposed trail. And I would like to hear from anyone who has objections. I don't have any objections. Okay. I'm at 3209 Ridgetown Place in Duluth, Georgia. Okay.
Anyone else, please, an opportunity to comment on. Steve?
I wrote a letter of support. Y'all can read it later.
We've already read it.
I'm Sam Striegel. I was born and raised in Fayette, and I strictly oppose that trail. And one of the reasons on that trail is a high crime area, and I wouldn't have my wife or my children or anybody to walk up and down there. And it'd be a real problem on the city. And within, if you'll get your local newspaper out and read it, down here at the depot, you can take a baseball and throw it through the window of the drug house that was just raided. And there's a lot of drug activity and shooting day and night that I hear. Wild animals, like pit bulldogs that are not supposed to be in the city of Fayette, a breeding ground, and then you've got coyotes out there at night. It'd be a very dangerous place for a child, a woman, or a man unless he was armed and had a good dog with him. And I strongly oppose it. My wife does. I live at 221 3rd Court Southwest here in the city of Fayetteville. And I'm not for it in any way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Mayor, I'm unable to walk up there
That's
because
fine.
of my foot, so I'm gonna stay here. I'm also opposed to it. With the street that I live on, 712 3rd Street Northwest, everyone's gonna be coming down at that dead end and parking down there. You say it won't be open at night, but I feel very unsafe being there at night.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Glenda Robertson, and I live on 623 2nd Street Northwest. And I like to walk, but recently I've started riding my bicycle. And a lot of times I ride it down Temple and around. And I just want to say, the majority of the times that I walk or ride, I always have my pepper spray. You know, it doesn't matter where I go. You know, I'm always aware that there's a potential for problems anywhere. You know, I would feel actually a little bit safer riding my bicycle down the trail because I know I'll have that protection. I know I'll have my phone. But riding down Temple, I have to watch for traffic. They don't watch for me. So I personally would feel safer on my bicycle as far as that goes. And I wouldn't feel like I was in any danger riding my bike or walking down. You know, I wouldn't walk down Temple Avenue late at night and certainly wouldn't on the trail either. So I'm a vote for. Thanks.
Thank you. Council would like to hear your comments, please, for or against. Anyone else? This is the last opportunity for anyone to come and speak.
I don't want to come up there either, but I'm Sue Moore, and I live at 705 4th Street Northwest. I do not care if we do have a trail. It sounds like from what Kathy has said, from what others have said, it would be a good thing. There's always going to be some bad stuff. I don't care what we have. But the thing that does concern me is like where Teresa lives. I live by Teresa, and I live on a dead end with Jerry and Robin Hayes being the last one down there. I am concerned that there will be cars parking down at both places. There is, where Kathy used to live, there is a real pretty area down there where deer, fox, a lot of things are down there. I am concerned about that area, and I am concerned about around by Jerry and Robin Hayes' house for people coming and getting on or off the trail there. I see that as being a problem if we had some kind of, I can't say protection, but some kind of fence, stopping.
Privacy fence is what we have discussed when we've had discussions at the informational meeting, and other people have mentioned that.
Okay.
There would be no access down your dead-end street.
Okay.
If there's a privacy fence all the way
All right, when you
through
say
through
privacy.
the back of that neighborhood.
Yes, sir, when you say privacy, do you mean chain link or?
Chain link with the slats in it.
6 feet tall chain link.
Okay.
Y'all are adding to the cost.
That is my own.
Mayor, may I speak to Sue's
Yes, sir.
complaint? It's a valid one. And the street that she lives on, the street that Teresa lives on, the Hayes live on, those are both dead-end streets that go down to the tracks, or where the tracks used to be, the rail bed. I think that to alleviate this concern, we ought to make sure, even if there are no houses directly backing up to the tracks near those streets, that we totally fence that off so that people will know if they go down that street, they can't get on the rail bed or the walking trail. And they will learn real quick not to go down that street and park their car because they can't get on the trail.
So excuse me, if the homeowner is right there, just wants to get out and walk the trail, they can.
That's the trade-off.
I want to address that.
You can't have it both ways, can you? Can you, Kathy?
Well, actually, you can. Like Jerry Hayes, for example, owns property on both sides of the railroad. And if we put up a fence, he will have a gate with a key so that he can access across the trail to the other side to his property. So yes, you can have it both ways.
Well, I just want to say that I am for the trail, because I want to do anything that might help our town. I hope it would improve our neighborhood. But that's my only concern, is where you get on and off. Can you just go anywhere you want to and get on and off? That's my only thing.
I would assume there would be, the master plan, when we develop the master plan, we want your input.
I think tonight's meeting would be more about whether or not we're gonna move forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Plan.
Right.
And
To
then,
apply.
and then if so, I would assume there would be another public hearing in terms of the design of all this and what would be in it, so.
Construct trailheads.
Right.
Where people would enter.
Access points
Yes,
and all that kind of stuff.
And so people entering it or getting off the trail would be trespassing. Like, you're not gonna build a chain link fence for 2.5 miles.
No.
But, so when they get down close to where I live, if they're out wandering around on our property, they're trespassing, just like they would be now.
Just like it would be in my backyard.
So you pick
I
up
was
the
gonna
phone
say,
and you
Mayor,
call the
from walking the
police.
Dora Trail, I think a lot of these type of concerns we can address during the engineering phase when we're doing the design. Because if you've got good parking, like they do at different crossings, you won't need to go to these other areas to get on. They can park at different areas. We can have suitable areas that are gonna be good parking areas for them to go and access the trail on. So I think a lot of these things, as y'all said, we'll try to address during the design phase when we actually, are working on exactly what we're gonna do with the trail. And I just want to also say, as the street department's superintendent now, we have guys now that have the equipment. I talked to Marty today, if we get to clear that, our guys will probably do a lot of the in-kind work on it. We have the equipment that we'll keep it bush hog and keep it maintained. And, it'll just be another area that we do, just like we do the roads today. That's all.
Richard, I saw you, you want to say something? Mr. Spears.
Yes, sir, Richard Spears. I live at 314 Temple Avenue South. I'm not in favor of this. Might be a good thing during the day. How you gonna patrol it? At night, it will be a private drive for motorcycles and drug dealers. Because that's what's been going on down there, and was going on last year, and it's going on this year, is they run drugs and now with motorcycles. Well, now you're gonna take them off that roadway and put them on this private drive. So at least they'll be off the road going by my house, which that'd be okay, I guess. But it'd be harder for you to catch them then, because they'll be on a wooded private drive. And when you say, I'm walking down a trail and I just run up on this drug dealer and I'm gonna just deal with him, that's about ridiculous. Isn't it? I was talking to the ex-police officer, and I'm at a loss, can't remember your name. You just don't walk up on somebody that's gonna be a problem and deal with it. So.
Well, you call the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's cell service,
Thanks,
there's not cell service down there.
Thank you.
There's not service down there.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Van Gravely, and I have property adjoining the proposed trail. My property is just south of the trail by the depot. Guess I have two objections. One is that we haven't done this sooner. And the other is, it's not longer. I and my family have hiked trails, rails to trails over the state of Washington, and have benefited greatly from those. And I think our town can benefit greatly from having this for visitors here. That's all.
Thank you, Last opportunity, anybody else? We don't want you to leave without having an opportunity to speak. I think that's enough to me. All right, council, I want to ask you, could I entertain a motion to go ahead and do a pre-application and hire community consultants to help with the grant process? Just the pre-application.
So moved.
You got a motion? Second. Is there a second? Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. All right, is there any discussion? Any discussion?
Valid points made. Everybody's points have been valid. Both sides. Without getting into controversial debates here. Some years ago, this has been probably within a year after I came here, about 10, 11 years ago, and I started reading about the Chief Ladiga Trail over in East Alabama that they're trying to eventually connect to the Appalachian Trail. One of the neat things about it is, it was said earlier, it's being a railroad bed, the grade is only so much. So you can, if you're disabled, you can use it. I said this other night, for those that weren't here, there's and if you know me, I consider myself pretty tight fiscally speaking, unless it's something that really has a return on. And right now, there's a really brief window I kind of see with relative to the revitalization that's been done. It's about to be extended with the talk with the Turner Hotel, with the Cannon Building. This addition, the storefronts that were once empty now have things in them, and there are some things going on here right now in Fayette that if you look, this happened over the course of several years with the ALDOT coming in, and they're not up to full speed, and once they get totally moved in, you're going to talk about a lot of those being good jobs too. But there's just a lot of potential here at play, and it's all sort of coming together at the same time. The valid points about criminals, that's fair. That's fair. And there are drug deals that go on time to time at Guthrie Smith Park. Like I said, not to get into a ideological debate. That's why I belong with the NRA too, and why we have a Second Amendment. So my motion's on the table.
All right, we've had a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Any of the other council have any comments? All right, let's vote. And this vote would be all it would be enter into a pre-application process. You want to explain that one more time?
Basically just to apply. You're asking, applying, and you're committing that if you receive it, you're going to do a full application. You'll be brought back to this to do the full application. All you're doing is just asking authorization to apply. That's all you're really asking about at this point for the pre.
Okay. All those in favor of the applying the pre-application, all those in favor of that say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right, that's unanimous. Thank you for coming and sharing.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to motion, there's a second.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.